Ghostbusters 2016 is quite possibly the worst film ever made. No, I know I say that a lot, but this time I mean it. At worst, it's a horribly unfunny comedy that could possibly serve as entertainment if you were stranded on an airport runway for 2 hours. At best, it's you getting a bar trivia answer right, where the question is, name 2 failed attempts by Sony to reboot franchises in the 2010s. If you got it, you won a $20 bar tab. Where do I begin, my friends? It's amazing just how wrong this film is. It's like putting a Jackson Pollock painting in an art gallery during a realism exhibit. If that reference is too cerebral for you, then it's like saying poo is pee.
Your work is more cerebral than I expected.
I need a multi-phasic spectrometer to analyze this dumpster fire. And let me get this right out of the way out of the bat. To me, this has nothing to do with nostalgia. The original Ghostbusters film is a masterpiece of comedy. That's correct. It's lightning in a bottle. And as we all know, that's something that's easy to recreate or reboot. That is sarcasm, but I will attempt to explain what went wrong so badly to try to help them out. You know, for when they make that sequel to this. Oh wait, number 1, epic fail boot.
For me personally, I was like, I didn't know if I loved the idea of a sequel all these years later where the old team is just handing the new team the technology and all that.
Well, first off, if you haven't seen this movie, it's not a sequel. Despite what they may have led you to think with that terrible trailer. It's really not even a soft reboot, i.e. it exists in the Ghostbusters universe. Like, these characters still exist and all these events happened? Nope, this shit is a straight up remake. Meaning they used all the same plot points and beats as the original Ghostbusters, but made it embarrassingly unfunny and terrible. She fall down and go boom. She fall down and go boom too. It's essentially a film that shares the same name, ideas, and structure as the classic original film, just with grown-ups acting like mentally handicapped people and embarrassing themselves and their audience. Speaking of embarrassing, let's talk about our first 2 culprits.
I'm not ashamed of that trailer at all. I actually thought...
Number 2, the director and writer.
Nobody wants me as a movie director.
The director of this film is a man by the name of Paul Feig. He is a male, a typical man's man.
And I was pretty deep in movie jail at that point, having had 2 movies that had bombed.
He also co-wrote the film. And I hear he's already on to his next writing project, his suicide note. He co-wrote the film with a lady named Kate Dippold, who wrote a handful of episodes of Parks and Rec, and she wrote the movie The Heat. Paul Feig has a similar list of pathetic non-achievements, like writing and directing the movie Spy, directing Bridesmaids, creating Freaks and Geeks, a show that's boring and sucks.
It's so funny, you guys. It's worth it.
And he directed a couple episodes of The Office, which is why we see Gabe, Kevin, and Dwight's friend in this movie.
Is it called Ghostbusters?
It's called Ghostbusters. Yeah. Actor? Oh, no.
And hey, look who it is. Why, it's Coco the cat. Coco the cat is actually in a lot of movies and TV shows. What a big, lovable pussy. Out of all the talent in the world, why did Sony select these 2 hacks to write and helm the first film of this new Ghostbusters franchise? Or extended universe, or whatever the fuck they were planning to do with it. Fuck if I know.
When we say Ghostbusters, it's not just Ghostbusters, it's Ghostbusters.
Maybe it was this amazing pitch letter they sent to Amy Pascal. You know, a lady who apparently had her head so far up her own ass that her fecal matter was making decisions.
It's Amy. I hear you got a take. It's like, oh God, well, I mean, yeah, that I just kind of came up with, and I don't know if it's right.
Wow, that sounds great. Let's go with that idea. Why not? Did anyone even see the first Ghostbusters? Ghostbusters is about finely crafted dialogue, well-timed delivery,
I think we better split up.
Good idea. Yeah, we can do more damage that way.
likable and not annoying characters, and dry, sarcastic humor mixed with oddly believable science, villains, and threats. And while I'm not advocating for a remake that's the same film, because that's boring and pointless, what Ghostbusters should never be is filled with embarrassing and childish ad-libs.
Oh, it's got a filling to it. What's that? Oh.
Hilarious.
Wait. Look at me, I'm a monster.
Pussy fart jokes.
Is it more or less disgusting if I tell you it came from the front?
Babbling characters who think they're ad-libbing, babbling is funny, and terribly dated humor.
You get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car.
Do you remember You Get a Car from Oprah? Remember crowd surfing? Remember 1997? I'm not quite sure what Paul Feig's talent really is. I mean, he's famed for directing Bridesmaids, but really that was a film with a great script written by Kristen Wiig and Annie Mumolo. I think Paul really just hit record on the camera. Wiig and Mumolo were nominated for an Academy Award, and they won a whole shitload of other awards. What award did Paul Feig win? A golden turkey? A golden shower?
You know, the director, he spent too much on it, and he didn't shoot scenes we suggested to him. Several scenes that were going to be needed, and he said, no, we don't need them. And then we tested the movie, and they needed them, and he had to go back, and about 30 to 40 million in reshoots, so yeah. Wow. So he will not be back on the Sony line anytime soon.
So then you got a lady who wrote the script for Bridesmaids, yet Sony thinks they should write Ghostbusters? That brings me to my next point. Are you ready? If you have a heart condition, please hold on to the handrails. Wait, that makes no sense. There are no handrails. Get ready, here we go. Wait, I have a heart condition. Ready? Here we go. I'm trying to hold on to the handrail. Number 3, Sony Pictures is a giant dumpster fire. With such hits like Pixels, Paul Blart Mall Cop, Smurfs, Black Annie, Sex Tape, failed Spider-Man reboots, After Earth, That's My Boy, and so on. It's unsurprising that there is a rumor Sony was shutting down its film production. Not sure if it's gonna happen or if that was even true, but I mean, I wouldn't get all misty-eyed. While some good stuff does slip through the cracks.
Yeah, that stuff went everywhere, by the way, in every crack.
I was surprised that Ghostbusters fell into a lot of the same traps that your typical sleazy Sony movie falls into.
Dunkachino? Don't mind if I do.
And no, I'm not talking about the poo and fart jokes. Because as some of you will no doubt point out, I'm a big fan of such things, if they're in the proper context.
It's a cool joke. It was funny.
Ghostbusters isn't the best place for a queef joke.
I can do it live if you want.
What's next? You gonna give me a wedgie?
But alas, I am talking about sleazy product placement. I mean, we all know about Sony and Coke. Seeing Coke logos everywhere shouldn't be a surprise, especially when the ending of your film takes place in Times Square. The use of product placement to me is always downright annoying, but it's a very Sony thing to do.
What's my name?
Dunkachino.
It's a whole new game.
Dunkachino.
You want creamy goodness? I'm your friend. Say hello to my chocolate blend.
Some things in Ghostbusters seemed like possible product placements, but they may have been jokes. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what was a joke or what wasn't. And then there are the truly shameful product placements. The ones that make you feel like you want to take a shower. While the whole world uses cameras on their fucking iPhones, the Ghostbusters gals were of course using a Sony Handycam. What is this, 2006?
How can you be eating right now? Won't you pop?
They claim that Pringles wasn't a real product placement on the commentary track. They just wanted to have her eating something.
Here's a fun fact. Everyone always thinks the Pringles was just a product placement thing, but that we had that forever, that she's just eating during that.
So Pringles gets a free plug.
But I mean, like, you know, you don't just take a product and put it in your film. You gotta clear it with Pringles. They got teams of legal people that do all sorts of this shit. You're on set and you're Kate McKinnon, hold up this bottle of Pringles. There's some guy in a suit who comes in and says, oh, wait a minute. We shouldn't shoot with that. Because Pringles is gonna get angry because the movie sucks. I guess, like, CGI artists could always, like, change the label on the Pringles can, but I mean, that gets added to the budget. I just don't buy it!
It was only because I knew these girls were funny.
It's lies. It's corporate lies. And then don't forget Hostess Twinkies. Check it out, everybody. Hostess Twinkies. The first Twinkie reference was just a fucking joke. Now it's getting old. Now, let's also enjoy some delicious Papa John's pizza. You know that disgusting slop that gives you gas? Let's go eat some of that. Hey, look, there's a location that's convenient for all of us. Let's get a Papa John's pizza once we finish defeating the ghosts. Hey, wait. Shouldn't these be Coca-Colas? Who's doing the product placement in this film? They should be fired. Oh, wait. I know why they aren't Cokes. It's because Papa John sells Pepsi products. Having them drink Cokes in the scene would be a conflict of corporate interest. Aren't movies magical, kids?
Papa John's.
Even the fucking Blu-ray is stuffed with ads. Get hired to work at the Ghostbusters virtual reality experience? What? Something about chips. Get $1 off chips. Coupons for balance bars? What? Oh, I guess that's for ladies. The Ghostbusters video game? Okay. Own these other great Sony titles like Pixels and Goosebumps? Get a free mug from Shutterfly when you upload your photos. Shop for your Halloween costume at the dirty used clothing store, Goodwill. Ew, gross. Even I won't go there. And I sleep on a pile of dirty laundry. And of course, for the male Fatso fans, get a free cheesy burger coupon. Even I wouldn't sink that low. You know, somebody did. Somebody took this coupon from their Ghostbusters Blu-ray and redeemed it for one free cheesy burger. The burger's so cheesy, it has extra E's and cheesy.
Try the Ghostbusted Burger, Stay Puft Slime Milkshake, and Mac and Cheese Bites.
Then that person took their burger and ate it in their dumpy apartment, all alone, and then cried. I love Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters on Blu-ray and DVD October 11th.
Number 4, 2016 versus 1984. It's hard to talk about this film without comparing it to the original. It's basically impossible because it's a remake.
Mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria!
But the thing is, I'm not sure what the point of this movie was, other than obviously being Sony's attempt to establish a Ghostbusters cinematic universe, which ended about as well as a Sonny Bono ski trip. What were we supposed to get out of this? Was this movie supposed to be a laugh-a-minute romp?
But my concern is, I feel like the cat is sort of already kind of out of the bag.
Hilarious.
What they're saying is the cat is out of the bag.
Oh my
They
gosh,
want
that's
us
so
to put the cat
hilarious.
back inside the bag.
I know that's what they're saying, but I'm saying the cat's already out, so it's hard to put the cat back in the bag. But that's why they have that saying, because if the cat is out of the bag, you can't put it back in the bag.
Hilarious.
Once the cat is out of the bag, aren't you like, oh, the cat is out of the bag?
We just want to shove that damn cat back in the bag.
Were we supposed to be laughing so hard we couldn't catch our breath? We had to pee in our pants? Were the quips and ad-libs and comments that everyone was making supposed to be so funny we couldn't stop laughing? Maybe we were supposed to be laughing at all the mistakes in the movie. Like this.
Okay, so I don't know if it was a race thing or a lady thing, but I'm mad as hell.
An extra is still tapping his or her foot to the beat, even after the music has stopped. Hey, why isn't this scene at night? Why is this concert going on in the daytime? Apparently Ozzy's right there and is like getting ready to go on stage. Well, why the fuck is the headliner going on in the daytime? I know a way we could get some comedy out of the movie. Maybe we can oversaturate all the colors. That'll make it funny, right? You know, it was probably some suit at Sony that thought of that. In fact, I have footage.
Yeah, hey, Paul, I've been checking out those dailies, and it looks great. It does not look like barf. But I was thinking maybe we can make the movie look more like barf. Yeah, I just want to, knock the saturation levels up just a little bit so it looks like everybody has high blood pressure, or maybe they're wearing, way too much makeup. Yeah, my grand vision is like, all right, Willy Wonka throwing up in a Skittles factory. Yeah, no, I know it'll look like hot garbage, but this movie's a giant turd, and, maybe if it's more colorful, the movie will be funny.
Oh my God, look. Her soup only has 1 wonton in it. That's hilarious. Fuck you, fatso! Maybe that delivery guy's trying to give her a hint. Like you gotta lose some weight. Or it's the joke that the Chinese restaurant provides low quality food. If so, that Chinese restaurant is bad. Well, I mean, the ladies to get more wontons. The movie's fatal flaw is that it's an overstuffed turkey. You can overstuff a Judd Apatow-style ad-lib comedy, but a science fiction-based comedy needs to be precise, just like science itself.
So I wanted it based on kind of real science as much as possible, and since it's like a lot of nuclear, engineering and physics and all that, we hired a nuclear physicist out of MIT.
Now I will do my very best to avoid singing the praises of the original film. To avoid sounding biased. We all know what they are. We all know it's one of the best movies ever made, with some of the best performances and characters. We all know that it didn't need to be remade.
Hell no. It was only because I knew these girls were funny.
So I'll avoid saying how great it is, and how perfect.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass!
Just how absolutely perfect it is. I won't talk about how almost every line of dialogue is expertly written and delivered.
You are so kind to take care of that man. You are a real humanitarian.
I don't think he's human.
And I certainly won't mention how unique and awesome it was.
Everybody getting this so far?
How perfect the villains were, and how great and well developed each character was. I will do my very best not to mention those things. Ghostbusters 2016 tries way too hard to be liked. It stinks of desperation in almost every sense. While the original movie pulled it off flawlessly and with style and grace.
It's just occurred to me we really haven't had a completely successful test of this equipment.
I blame myself.
So do I.
Ghostbusters 2016 is like a little kid in the backseat of your car yelling for your attention. A kid that you just might forget is in your back seat when you go to work on a hot day, if you know what I'm saying. Whoops! God. Number 5. Too much dancing and pointless movie references. Too much dancing. Stop dancing. This was the most dancing they did in the original film. Hey, remember Patrick Swayze movies?
What do you mean like Patrick Swayze? Like you're sitting behind you making some pottery?
Remember Dirty Dancing?
And then we sat down and he was behind me and we made a vase.
Oh, you're combining the two.
I combined a couple of Swayze.
Oh, you know what's a good one? Roadhouse.
Remember Roadhouse?
He was a point break.
Come on, at the end with the big wave.
He's a ghost in that too.
Well, you know, you guys.
Stop dancing. Stop dancing. Remember Jaws?
Please don't be like the mayor in Jaws.
Remember Jaws?
Never compare me to the Jaws mayor. Never!
Remember Jaws? Remember Scarface?
Say hello to my little...
Remember Scarface?
Say hello to my little friend!
Remember Scarface? Remember Scarface?
Say hello to my little friend! Say hello to my chocolate blend!
Enough with the dancing. Remember The Exorcist? Stop dancing. Stop dancing. Stop dancing. Remember Scarface? Enough with the dancing. Stop dancing. Remember Scarface? Stop dancing. Remember Scarface? Stop dancing.
That was great. It was really good.
Number 6. The plot.
All I can ask is please just judge the movie on its own merits. Don't judge it off of a trailer. Obviously, I don't...
Let's break this shit down like a cardboard box you intend to place in your recycling bin. It's no secret that this piece of trash is a remake. It follows the same structure as the first film, but just with some cosmetic changes. First, Aaron Gilbert is the closest character to Peter Venkman, just much less interesting or funny.
I feel so funky.
The Ivy League intellectual who doesn't really do the hard science stuff and borders on being a fraud. I see Abby Yates as Ray Stantz, technically minded but still somewhat relatable. You know, the everyday guy. And she's fat too. Jillian Holtzman is clearly the Egon of the group, scientifically genius and socially awkward. And of course, Patty is Louis Tully. I'd actually probably be a little more forgiving of this movie if it had some kind of crazy different plot.
Why don't you go back to your mother's basement where you live?
But it didn't. So I'm gonna fuck it right up the ass with this. Bend over, let Plinkett come over. Ghostbusters, of course, opens in the basement of the New York Public Library. Old librarian lady is spooked by something. Ooh, roll the credits. 2 minutes in. One and done, as they say. No need to dwell on this scene for too long.
Century home in New York City preserved both inside and out.
Now here we have Gabe from The Office giving a tour of the Eldridge Mansion. He makes a racist joke about how a clock was given preference in a Titanic lifeboat over a Romanian woman and her child.
Romanian woman and her child were forced to leave the lifeboat to make room.
The death of some foreign woman is funny. The death of her child is even funnier. Then he mumbles something about P.T. Barnum coming up with the idea to enslave elephants in the house.
P.T. Barnum first had the idea to enslave elephants.
Hilarious. Then we hear the long story about how the Eldridge daughter was a murderer or something, and then her family locked her in the basement, and blah, blah, blah. And then we set up that Gabe has a trick candle holder. I guess that was to show that he's a skeptic? Or some kind of huckster? But who cares if he was or wasn't? What did it really matter? Point is, it takes us nearly 5.5 minutes to get to this. The opening fucking title. Now we know so much about this mansion, the family history, the daughter, her past, how and why she was locked in the basement. Does it come up again later? No. I mean, she shows up at the end, but so what? Is all this essential to the plot? Nope. All we really needed to see was Gabe locking up the mansion at the end of the last tour. You show that sparking ghost summoning device thing under the table, and then bam, title. So right there, kids, the opening fucking scene are two great side-by-side examples of what works and what doesn't. You got slim, neat, and to the point, next to overly long, unfunny, bloated, and filled with pointless information.
You cast Zach, who is one of the funniest people in the entire world.
Oh my God.
Great improviser.
Literally the best, I think the best improviser I've ever worked with.
It's said that in this very room, P.T. Barnum first had the idea to enslave elephants.
Another thing to mention is that your first scene sets the tone. With the original Ghostbusters, the opening scene has no jokes. It's played 100% straight and is actually kind of scary. It tells us, take the ghosts and all this shit kind of seriously. This tells me, oh no, there's gonna be 2 more hours of this shit.
Romanian woman and her child. P.T. Barnum first had the idea to enslave elephants. I believe he may have been drunk when he...
Women, that's the way to also take it away from just kind of direct comparisons in a weird way, because you're not going to go, well, who's the female Venkman, you know, or hopefully you wouldn't.
Next, we introduce the female Venkman, meet our new Egon and Rays, and finally get to our preliminary ghost investigation. Now I can compare every scene side by side and explain in painful detail how tightly crafted and great the first Ghostbusters is, and compare each scene to their much longer, unfunny, babbling counterparts with way too many pointless lines and actions.
Do you have any idea how many federal regulations you're breaking on a daily basis?
1.
No.
2.
No.
Either 1.
Just sit quietly.
But I'll be here all day, and this video would be so long and scary the government would classify it as terrorism. So I'm just gonna bullet point all the plot shit in case you were too dense to see how this is a total fucking straight up rip-off con job.
Wait, if I could reboot it and just kind of do our whole new origin story, taking this amazing idea of funny people fighting the paranormal with technology, that's interesting to me, and that I think I know how to do.
Real ghost encounter opening. Failed first ghost encounter. Kicked out of university. Get idea to become Ghostbusters. Looking for a place to set up shop. Overly long and pointless scene to explain how they got their logo. Oh wait. Getting the Ghostbusters car. First official job catching a ghost. This one is 57 minutes into the film versus the 30-minute mark, which is perfect. Meeting with the mayor. A scene looking at a map or a blueprint. Being looked at as part of the problem. Ghosts are unleashed on the city. Military and police are all over the place. Ghosts attacking the city montage sequence. Confronting the bad guy. Being pushed backwards. Choose the form of your destructor.
Choose the form of the destructor.
What form would you prefer I take?
Shooting a big thing. Closing a portal to save the day. While the major beats are in place, the tone and angle of each movie is very different. In the original Ghostbusters, you have Venkman, who is a con artist. He's a sleaze who is out to sleep with women.
I'll take Miss Barrett back to her apartment and check her out.
And do as little work as possible. When him, Egon, and Ray are kicked out of the university, it's Venkman who wants to start the Ghostbusters business.
To go into business for ourselves.
Which, of course, leads to wonderful moments like this.
You're not going to lose the house. Everybody has 3 mortgages nowadays. But at 19%, you didn't even bargain with the guy.
Ray, for your information, the interest rate alone for the first 5 years comes to $95,000.
In this film, the motivation seems to be 2 things. For Aaron Gilbert to regain respect by proving that ghosts are real.
We can become the first scientists to prove the existence of the paranormal. All we have to do is find an entity.
And to help people, I guess.
This woman is describing a Class 3 haunting in her house. She can't just move. She can call the police.
On that first point, Kristen Wiig really needed to be the, quote, straight man. Whoops. Sorry, Paul Feig. I meant straight woman. I don't want to be sexist.
Good boy.
Oh, God, it stinks.
Just a big, beautiful dummy.
She should have actually been respected at Columbia. Instead, she's trying to get tenure and is excited about lecturing in the big hall. Just like an amateur hack. Then she's acting like an idiot, all weird and awkward around everyone. She has a conversation with some snobby lady that just proves how unaccepted she is already. If she had a real career and something to actually risk by joining the Ghostbusters, it'd take on a realistic tone. Again, someone said to Kristen Wiig, say funny and weird things instead of using restraint and making her character the stable and grounded one as it needed to be. Abby and Holtzman just have a general passion for the paranormal stuff, but no real goal, except for helping a YouTube commenter.
We just have to go upstairs and ask for more money.
Then the only mention of money is that they can't afford the old Ghostbusters firehouse and have to work above a Chinese restaurant. Hey, wait. The fact that they're above a Chinese restaurant? Is that a reference to the first film? Where the Ghostbusters are eating takeout Chinese when they say that's the last of the petty cash? Ah, fuck it. This movie ain't that clever.
I think it's going to satisfy the taste buds of the people who love the original. And then they'll love this one too because it's different.
Wait. I guess Abby attempted to make a flyer and then had Kevin make a logo. But shit, you gals are gonna be out of business in a week at this rate. Especially with Bush in the White House.
Now,
there is no Venkman character negotiating for more money and pushing to keep things afloat for his own selfish personal reasons. You see, Ghostbusters is essentially a film about the spirit, no pun intended, of entrepreneurship.
I've worked in the private sector. They expect results.
The franchise rights alone will make us rich beyond our wildest dreams.
3 guys struggling to start and run a business, and then hiring an employee because they become too busy. They just happen to save the world in the process. Venkman could care less. Ray is filled with a childlike fascination with ghosts. Egon is a technical genius and, of course, is...
terrified beyond the capacity for rational thought.
And Winston...
if there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say.
Why, you don't care. That's what makes the movie great, is its moral ambiguity and its grounding in reality. The Ghostbusters are schlubby exterminators. They aren't role models. They aren't action stars. They certainly aren't heroes. If anything, they're anti-heroes, or accidental heroes. Especially Venkman.
Go get her, Ray!
The contradiction is best exemplified by this good old-fashioned hard edit. Do you get it now? Do you get it, Paul Feig? Number 7, casting and improv.
When you get 4 people in those lead roles like that, who are so not only funny but sweet and wonderful, you just laugh the whole time.
The casting of this movie isn't the problem. Only in rare cases is the casting of a movie so bad that it ruins the whole film. A good script and a good director could make anything work. Who would have thought that Mr. Mom could be Batman? Or that Charlton Heston could play a Mexican? Or that Lindsay Lohan could play a drug-addled stripper? Kate McKinnon and Leslie Jones are talented people and very funny on Saturday Night Live. Melissa McCarthy, while sometimes can be a bit too much for some people, has done some funny roles and has good comedic timing. I did actually enjoy Spy. I didn't see The Heat, though. I thought it was another film trying to sell me a convection oven.
This is delicious. My taste buds is going wild.
I got too many convection ovens. Stop trying to sell me a convection oven.
Are you too busy to cook a wholesome meal for the family?
I don't got a
the hassle of
family.
waiting for your food to thaw?
No.
Has fast food become a regular on your family's dinner table?
Why, I love fast
Are you concerned about
food.
gaining weight and high cholesterol due to
No.
unhealthy eating habits? Has
No.
cooking become just a
I
tiresome
hate the
chore
cleanup.
for you?
Mr. T, wait, he's shilling for cash now?
Darla, are my eyes deceiving me, or am I looking at the frozen food section at the supermarket?
What's the world come to? The A-Team was just on TV.
You joking, right?
Oh, sorry about that. Talking about The Heat made me think of all those convection ovens I have sitting in my basement, collecting dust. Oh, sorry, back to my review. Kristen Wiig. She is just a terrific comedian, as well as a great dramatic actress and writer, too. So they took these 4 actresses and put them in a movie that just didn't work for them. That's all. 94.6% of this film relied upon improvisation, and you cannot improvise clever, well-constructed science jokes. What you can improv is day-to-day stuff in life. For example, the scene when they interview Kevin. They ask him questions, make fun of him. Kristen Wiig salivates over his Thor-like handsomeness, etc. Kevin is a dummy and says silly things. In fact, Chris Pinesworth is rather funny at improv. That scene sort of worked. If this were a rom-com about women starting a business. Apparently there's a 45-minute long edit of this scene.
We do 40-minute takes where we just let the camera roll and we'd all be sort of improvising. It was unique to anything I've done before. So he has us down these.
I don't know. This was 5 hours of improv. I forget.
Yeah.
Please stop ad-libbing. Stop it.
That's a tough way to lap the
Oh
block.
my God, say cut already.
The fact that Paul Feig had any footage to actually cobble together a film is shocking.
Yeah, he probably dances real sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like just a whine.
I don't think his hips move at all. I think
Then there's a scene where Abby and Patty are mocking how they think Aaron's boyfriend might dance. It's mildly amusing and also very clearly improv. Although I think this might be an extended scene. I'm not really sure. The VHS tape of this movie I got is the one with the extra footage, so I don't remember what was in the original film, because I only saw it once. and I slept through half of
You
it.
rip that V-neck off and he gets it busy.
And he rips that V-neck off, he's got another V-neck.
Problem is, Ghostbusters isn't a movie where you point your camera at your actors and yell, "Say funny things." Those are called Judd Apatow movies. And usually they're about people, sex, relationships, virginity, farts, pussies, lesbians, shitting, hookers, drinking booze, swearing,
Cocksucker motherfucker!
sluts, dude bros, smoking pot, video games, taking dumps, tits, and so on. Were there ad-libs in the original Ghostbusters film? Probably. Yes, I guess. I don't know, I'm too lazy to look into it. But at some point you have to say no. Like this guy, for example.
Get your candy asses up on out of this piece. And don't let the Dizzor hit you on the is-ass on your way is-out.
Apparently, this guy's big stand-up bit in the 1980s was this stuff, where he'd flip you the middle finger in many different ways. It'd go on for 15 minutes.
I think it might be a ghost. Oh, no, it's not. It's just a bird. Bye. There's the door. Later days. Can you hear this? Let me turn it up.
I bet that was funny 38 years ago. Hey, maybe this guy's gimmick was blackface in 1952. But for fuck's sake, leave it out of the movie. Their part in the movie is to kick the Ghostbusters out of the school, not indulge in some cheap, pathetic, and embarrassing humor. Sometimes an ad-lib here or there is fine, but not everywhere.
Maybe I should come out. It's all chemistry. I could come out with my own hair dye.
But not everywhere. These Hollywood geniuses couldn't see that a square peg doesn't fit in a hole. I will now go frame by frame through this Zapruder film and tell you everything, and I mean everything, that was done wrong. Number 8. I ain't afraid of no jokes. So now we hate our characters and find them annoying and mostly aimless. With the exception of Patty. Her character comes the closest to matching the spirit of the original Ghostbusters. She has no idea what she's doing, kinda wants to do the right thing, but is just along for the ride. Plus, she's the most laid back and the funniest.
You are just a bundle of joy, ain't you? You have a good day with your crazy ass.
Her acting in this scene is quite good. She actually looks scared, and Leslie Jones is taking the tone of the scene seriously. She doesn't have that ass-licking smirk on her face like everyone else. Wipe the fucking smirk off your face! This movie lacks so much confidence in itself that even the jokes it does have, it ruins. Let me give you an example. There's a joke in here that I love. It's when Aaron Gilbert tells Gabe that Ed Mulgrave came to see her. And then Gabe tells her that he's been dead for 15 years.
Ed Mulgrave died 15 years ago.
Ed Mulgrave Jr. then walks into frame, and the mishap is explained.
But that's Ed's son, Ed Jr.
That's obviously who I meant. Hi.
The problem here is that the timing is all off. It's all just way too fast, and the editor needed to let it breathe a little.
But Ed Mulgrave died 15 years ago.
Yes. That's awesome. Dead for 15.
What you needed was a little music sting.
Ed Mulgrave?
Yes.
But Ed Mulgrave died 15 years ago.
A beat where everyone is silent and frightened. And then pay it off.
So who is this?
But that's Ed's son, Ed Jr.
That's obviously who I meant. Hi.
What we get is Abby and Brooksy constantly talking in the background. Shut up! Stop talking, you're ruining all the jokes.
Garrett here saw it on Tuesday, and I believe it made him soil himself. Jesus.
Wow, soiling. I'd put that in a T3. T4 if it was poo.
I didn't soil myself.
He did. He called me sobbing, saying, "Oh my God, my pants are toast."
Do you have to keep a sample of the soiling?
A sample?
Poo. Okay. I'd love to get that back to the lab.
The movie feels the need to fill each scene with constant comments and quips. Even when the characters are off screen, ADR lines are inserted to say something stupid.
All right, ladies, we got a limited window for when the next train arrives. I'm telling you, and don't touch the third rail unless y'all little dainty ass can handle 750 loads.
You know, you don't usually think about the amount of urine smell.
That's pretty much how it's gonna be. It's not gonna freshen up at all.
something over here. Look at, what is that, a bird?
All right,
You don't-
ladies,
you
we
don't
got a
usually
limited
think
window
about
for when the next
amount of
train
urine
arrives.
smell.
I'm
That's
telling you,
pretty
and
much
don't touch the
how it's
third
going.
rail.
Come on, Rowan, come get your virginity out of the lost and found.
Wait, if his virginity was in the lost and found, well, that would mean that he lost it, right?
Come get your virginity out of the lost and found.
Like things in a lost and found are things that people have lost. If he wanted to get it out of the lost and found, that would mean he wanted it back. I don't think you can get back your virginity. It's either gone or it's gone. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. She didn't think her ad-lib through and blurted it out, and they just kept it in the movie because nobody noticed. That's why ad-libbing isn't always great. Do you get that, Paul Fig?
Action.
Abby, we got you a sandwich so you
You're
don't
doing
be picking
great.
on for hours, man.
It's like a guy from Sony in a suit is looking over the shoulders of the people making the movie and saying, if no one's talking, no one's laughing.
Paul, if nobody's talking, nobody's laughing.
Yeah, ladies, let's keep up the improv. Just start saying anything, regardless of context.
Or the equivalent of, you've got time to lean, you've got time to clean. Completely and totally misunderstanding the power of a well-crafted, well-executed comedy. Another quality example or comparison is the first time each Ghostbuster team fires their proton packs. In both cases, they look like unprepared amateurs. In the first film, the Ghostbusters accidentally fire their proton throwers at a maid's cart. It's funny when instead of screaming or yelling or flying against the wall or smashing things or whatever, she simply says,
What the hell are you doing?
and what's even funnier are the guy's responses.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm sorry. We thought you were someone else.
Then we're allowed to breathe and kind of soak in what just happened. The concept of the proton stream being weak and pathetic and untested is pretty good. It's not great, but it's good. Holtzman's wah wah is funny, but let's see how long they give us to dwell on it.
Okay, there's a little underwhelming. Should we get
Oh. Can't pause for a joke. Gotta keep things moving.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Or another good example is when Patty shows up with Ecto-1. They ask her, did you even check to see if there was a body in the back? Patty could have just looked at the car like the thought never popped in her head.
Hope you checked to see there wasn't a body in the back.
Then they all kind of stare at her, and then they cut. Instead, we get this.
Hope you checked to see there wasn't a body in the back.
I don't think so. I don't really know.
You didn't
Stop
check?
talking.
I mean, I was in a hurry. I checked to see if we had gas. That was more important.
Stop talking.
So there is body?
Let Holtzman check. She likes that type
Stop
of
talking.
stuff.
Yeah, I can think of
Stop
7
talking.
good uses of a cadaver today.
No.
For the love
Dr.
of God,
Frankenstein,
stop
you
talking.
gotta turn in the body if there's one in there.
Stop
Don't do
talking.
that.
In this movie, more is more. Louder and bigger is better. When it's been proven that less is more, and smarter and subtler is better.
Do you want some coffee, Mr. Tully?
Do I? Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
Number 9. Action. Because there's nothing left. With what little humor we had finally spent, and no characters to care about, the movie's final desperate attempt to make us enjoy it is an overbloated and pointless action scene. I wish I had a dime for every time I've said that.
You can't get swallowed up by all the technology and all that stuff. You have to put it all in service of these characters. And so weirdly, you almost face it like it's a small movie and then just, augment it with all these amazing effects.
Oh, wait. I guess we're supposed to care about Kevin.
Kevin, come inside.
Kevin.
Rowan, not Kevin. We like him.
Nobody hurts Kevin, man. Nobody hurts Kevin.
It's ridiculous. Let's get Kevin.
A character they basically said was a retard.
God, that's loud, huh?
Where's Janine? Where's Louis Tully? And most importantly, where's Dana Barrett? The Peter Venkman Dana Barrett arc was absolutely critical in Ghostbusters. It added emotion and humanity, and something to care about.
Dana!
These ladies just want to save Kevin like they'd want to save their dog.
So, she's a dog.
Why can't one of them have a male love interest? That's not sexist. And it's not like Dana Barrett was just some bimbo in distress. She played in the fucking symphony and was a totally independent and wealthy woman who lived on Central Park West. So all I got here at the end of the film is that a man who is possibly retarded might be in danger, and that there are ghosts attacking New York City, a city filled with dim-witted FBI agents, lazy takeout guys, a mayor who doesn't give a shit, his cunty lying assistant, Erin's colleague or boyfriend that is embarrassed by her, a middle finger flipping dickwad dean, a snarky crippled skeptic, rude disbelieving YouTube commenters, people giving dirty looks, and a disobedient tagger. Wow, a cast of annoying, cartoonish, stupid people. Yes, please save the city from the literal basement-dwelling misanthrope. Even the guy he works for is an asshole.
Whatever, freak show, just do it.
This script is dumber than Kevin. Couldn't the movie have shown just a little bit of restraint? You know, and had a mayor that was just a mayor concerned about the danger? Why did he have to be a dumbass too?
No, it's just a magic trick. He didn't actually cut her in half.
No, I was there. She was cut in half.
There's two women.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's just a trick.
Ah, fuck it. You know what? It's clear that Holtzman is a lesbian. Let's have... How about this lady? The mayor's assistant. Instead of her being a mean bitch, how about she's just a new assistant to the mayor? She's in over her head. It's her first day on the job, or like her first week on the job, or whatever. Her and Holtzman kind of hit it off in the mayor's office scene. Then at the end, the assistant and the mayor are threatened by the ghost doomsday plot or whatever. And then maybe Holtzman saves her. I don't know. Give me something, movie.
Let's go.
Now, let's talk about the boring action. Wait! Before we talk about all the boring action, let's talk about the tech.
So I wanted it based on kind of real science as much as possible, and since it's like
oh, fuck you. Fuck off with your real science bullshit. That's just a bunch of crap. Now, because this movie isn't about starting a business or has characters that we actually like, it has nothing to do for 2 hours but to introduce us to pointless new technology that can be used pointlessly at the end to solve a pointless problem that we don't care about.
Miss me!
In the original Ghostbusters, the technology was a tool. Egon had a few throwaway lines about the gear, but really it just sort of appeared. They just made it at some point. Talking about it too much wasn't really necessary. This movie had nothing else to do, so they talk about it. A lot.
We're entering the latest affordable, wearable speed up particles.
I got some pretty cool stuff cooking up over here if you want to build the superconducting magnets. I got some new magnets.
And I guess in place of the traditional 1980s montage sequence of busting ghosts, making money, and gaining experience, this movie replaces that with scenes of testing the gear in a back alley. Guess it's all supposed to be funny. Should I be laughing now, Mommy?
She's doing a marvelous impression of a deflating balloon. We just gotta let her ride it out until she's out of juice.
Oh, he's corkscrewing me!
Abby, I'll make some adjustments.
It's like fighting a gator!
Look, they blowed up a dirt bike, and the fat one is flying. Tell me when I should be laughing, Mommy. The proton pack is very similar to the lightsaber, wherein it's a tool to be used in service of the story, not a story element unto itself. It's essentially a joke. The Ghostbusters don't know what they're doing, or didn't know what they were capable of creating. The very first time they use their weapons, or ghost-catching equipment, it's used as a point of humor. The Ghostbusters rarely use their proton throwers on screen, because Ghostbusters wasn't an action movie. It was a gag film about guys who start a ghost extermination business. Do these guys look like action heroes to you? So that now at the aid of modern movie making magic, we can watch a new Ghostbusters of action fights with ghosts or something. Nothing clever like choose the form of your destructor, which causes Ray to think of a marshmallow mascot advertisement.
Well, there's something you don't see every day.
Or interdimensional demon dogs that disrupt a cocktail party. Nothing like that.
Okay, who brought the dog?
How can two writers who even have the smallest understanding of comedy not get why Ghostbusters worked so well in the first place? Have these people ever seen movies?
Come out, wherever you are.
Over here! That joke cost several $1,000s.
Is that true? Is that a real song?
Yeah, that's from, is it from, wait, what's it from? It's from some Disney movie.
Really?
Yeah.
It's from kind of a little obscure movie called The Wizard of Oz.
Come out, wherever you are.
The most famous movie ever made. You know that's in your movie now, right? And you don't even know what it's from? Number 10, cameos and fan service. This is a double-edged sword, as we say in the underground serial killers industry. The movie wanted to do its own thing, but at the same time, you've got to satisfy all the fans. Sound familiar? Not sure whose idea it was to do all this shit.
What would I be bummed if I didn't see? And I started going like, yeah, you're right. You know, let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater. What do we love? And we kind of listed out. We love the Ecto-1. We love the logo. We love the proton packs and the ghost trap and the slime. And the Slimer's great, you know, that kind of thing. So then you kind of go like, well, here's all the things that'd be fun to see. But then we want our own original story with our own original characters. But what can we do with these to kind of make them work in our origin story?
Then cameos of the original cast are sprinkled throughout the film as if to remind you that you're not watching the first Ghostbusters movie. It is also a sad reminder that the original cast will never reunite. Oh no! Oh no, 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 no! Oh God! The only person who was right the whole time during any of this was Ernie Hudson.
When I was asked what I thought of the idea, that was before it was a done deal. Right. And I said, just in theory, that I didn't think it was what the fans were looking for.
Leave out the original cast. Come up with your own new original shit. Oh, maybe you did. Lady Eldridge. Wow, that's awesome. The one who looks the most miserable was Bill Murray. He wanted to hold a cane so that he had an excuse to sit down his whole scene.
Yes, please have a seat.
Everyone thinks Bill Murray is so cool. Well, kids, guess what? He's not. He was the only holdout on ever making a third Ghostbusters movie. He understood the movies the least, but he held out on making a new one because of a contractual thing that allowed him to do that. Now this is the result.
The power of penny compels you! Ow!
And it's all his fault. Him alone. I hope you're happy. Stop celebrating Bill Murray. He's a fucking asshole. And now that Harold Ramis is dead, it's all over. Thanks. And don't even go pointing to this movie when discussing Ghostbusters 3. Unlike Indiana Jones, where you need to be young, suave, handsome, dashing, and not elderly, the more pathetic, old, fat, or crazy the Ghostbusters were would make the movie even better.
Right, suck in the guts, guys. We're the Ghostbusters.
Because it's not about this. It's about this. Trust me, I'm an expert. So you did it, Bill. Everyone's favorite Ghostbuster ruined Ghostbusters more than this guy. I'm glad you spent all those precious years of your life while Harold Ramis was still alive voicing Garfield movies. Fuck you.
It was only because I knew these girls were funny.
I know it's cold, but it's true. You know, Big Fat Plinkett is right. Now pull down your pants. Number 11, the autopsy results. So after nitpicking this movie apart from my comfortable internet armchair, I've come to this conclusion. It sucks! I think the main reason was 1, it wasn't appropriate material for the specific director, and 2, the actors took over the project.
What I knew I had to do was I had to allow my cast to take control of the film.
Hey, we can ask for the firehouse.
All right, well,
That's a great idea. Should we go cut to it right now?
Can I offer you a Lorna Doone? Can I offer you a chocolate milk? I didn't know they still made banana clips.
Hey, you big dummy! You look ridiculous! Running around here, you can't even chase a bunch of girls! You're so pathetic!
I had to allow my cast to take control of the film.
You know what? We're all losers. You don't see us trying to end the world over it, you big baby! You big baby! You're a baby loser!
I had to allow my cast to take control of the film.
I learned quite a bit listening to the commentary track. I learned that screenwriter Katie Dippold, seen here as the real estate agent, seemed to have a slightly different vision of the final film, something maybe more darker and closer in tone to the first one. I also learned that Paul Feig is probably a pretty nice guy. Too nice, in fact. He kept singing the praises of everyone involved in the film and how awestruck he was and humbled by everything, everywhere.
Brian Lord, amazing. It's great. I keep calling everybody amazing because everybody I work with is amazing. So there you go. So you should still feel honored that I called you amazing. The only person I don't refer to amazing is myself. Oh yeah, amazing. Yeah, everything we touch is amazing. You should know that.
He didn't seem to be like the guy who said, "This is how it's gotta go." Nope, can't do it like that. I want it like this. He was kind of like a grade school teacher in charge of a children's play. Isn't it cute that the show has gone amok and that the little kids are doing whatever the fuck they want?
That's too bad because you was so pretty.
What?
Say that again. Yeah, do that again.
I can't hear you over the crowd!
Ghostbusters shouldn't be a grade school play filled with adults making jokes about poo.
Poo.
And on top of that, shameless product placement, idiotic side characters, annoying ad-libs, distracting references to a better movie, and generally dumb things. The only thing that worked in this movie was the crew. He's glad to be working. They're glad to be working. These people are glad to be working. Well, maybe she isn't glad to be working. You just know that these guys are thinking the same exact thing. What that thing is, I just can't say. It'd be inappropriate. Well, okay, I'll just say it. They're thinking, this slime effect is gonna look great. What? What were you thinking?
It was only because I knew these girls were funny.